If you're not failing, you're not innovating enough. Welcome back, Mere Mortal to another edition of the Mere Mortals book reviews. One here, and today I've got a fat boy with me today. It is Elon Musk by Walter Isaacson. Now, this book was 600 plus pages. Yeah, I'm just opening it up at random and it's 600 plus pages. It's quite a bit of work. This particular biography was released in 2023. Now, I've previously reviewed or read Ashley Vance's autobiography on Elon Musk, and it was the unofficial one. However, it did capture a lot of information going back quite some time in terms of the years around how Elon Musk came around to kind of combining in to form PayPal with the PayPal Mafia back in the day, everything that he was doing before then. And that particular book, if I recall correctly, went all the way until 2016 when the book was actually released. So this is a more later biography. It is by someone who is renowned for being a autobiographer, I guess, of really quite famous people. So I kind of wanted to start there on Walter Isaacson. If you don't know who he is, let me fill you in. He written biographies of Jennifer Doudna, Leonardo da Vinci, Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, Benjamin Franklin, and Henry Kissinger. Now, Walter, he had been the editor of Time and CEO of CNN and the CEO of the Aspen Institute. So he himself has done a variety of things. He has done previous biographies. I have read another book by Walter Isaacson and reviewed it here, which was Steve Jobs' one. I haven't read some of the others, which are Benjamin Franklin. He's got other books that are not biographies, but he's quite well known for biographies by and large. About a year ago when this book was released as well, he did quite a lot of podcasts and a lot of media. So you would have seen him potentially on the Diary of a CEO, on Lex Friedman, and he talked about a lot of the things that went behind this book. So I'd probably recommend some of those things around if you wanted to understand more of what sort of made the nitty-gritty details of the book. But I want to talk about what the book itself is and separate it a little bit from that previous biographies. And I do know there's another biography out there somewhere that I don't even know the name of it, but I thought, why pick that up when I'm getting this? Walter went down a similar path here, and it is a gigantic book for a reason. Elon Musk himself has done a lot of things. Whatever you may think of him as an individual, let's just say, or where he stands for, or what he stands for, or what he does, the dude's done a lot. And Walter tried to kind of basically break up the book into, I'm going to say, kind of into two sections. If you actually go and take a look at the breakdown of the book, and if you can see the video, I'll actually hold it up, the contents themselves. So that's the first page, the second page, the third page of contents. He has broken down this book into 95 chapters, which is just gigantic, gigantic amount of chapters, and all of them kind of associated with either an event or an activity that Elon Musk has done or something that's quite noticeable. It's usually centered around the either breakdowns of successes in relationships, breakdowns of successes in a work perspective, in new things that are being accomplished, and obviously Elon Musk, there's quite a bit. But I'll break it down into saying there's two sections, which is basically everything that Walter must have either picked up from individuals that happened prior to him being day-to-day there with Elon Musk, and everything post. So half the book was more of a wider lens. It was reviewing historical view of context of how SpaceX really did begin, the challenges that Elon had in his younger years, the diabolical, I'm going to put it, type of relationship that he had with his dad, moving from South Africa all the way to the USA, everything that he did around businesses and conversations, the way that he acted back in those days. There's so many examples that gives you a good indication from a wider lens of, okay, how did Elon Musk come about to be the individual that he is? Why does he act this way? Why does he make some choices which to some seem irrational, to him seem evident? Why is he such a risk taker? It's all there in the first half of the book. And then the second section of the book delves much more into, I believe, Walter Isaacson basically followed him almost on a daily basis from 2021 through to when the book was sort of completed. So around, let's just say 2023. And he was there in meetings, in conversations, in private spaces where Elon was going away elsewhere. And in that, he gave you a finer grained example of things that happened or occurred throughout the book that you had just more of a wider brush, the first section. So really the book is, wide brush painting, the first half of the book. The second half of the book is really fine stenciled, kind of just demonstrating and showing you when concerns, issues, actions, events are happening, how exactly it happened, what words were used, how Elon, I guess in the first section, I guess is an example that people talked about his mentality of going into almost demon mode. And it was very broad. Again, it was just, hey, demon mode, it's hard work, it's whatever. In the second half, there's detailed examples of what that means, what that looks like. What did he do? Did he forget about the person? He forgets about the person that he absolutely persecuted in a meeting, a couple of days later. And it's just the way that he is. It's also the way that he's grown up. It's the way that he has been raised. It's the way that his mind works. So many things. So I guess that's really the way that the book is sectioned out. Walter Isaacson himself writes books that are awesome, honestly. Like the details alone in this book make you go, man, this is interesting. Like it's an interesting book that you're going to read. But Walter's able to just probably dissect and say just enough. He's not laboring the point. There's not more than meets the eye. It's very direct about what's happening. That's his biographical style, I guess I'd just say. So direct to it, but at the same time explores and shares enough ideas and information to go, wow, yeah, I'm glad he put in that detail. At the back of the book, you can also see the amount of people that he actually interacted to make this book come alive. Of course, as you'd expect, ridiculous amounts. A lot of people who've interacted with Elon. And, for how busy Elon Musk is as an individual, once again, think about him whatever you want, dude does a lot of things, right? The fact that he, on top of that, had the time to share, provide information and everything else to Walter was pretty impressive. One probably final call out I'd say about this book that I think makes it uh, different or more acute information. If you're looking for information around SpaceX and Tesla, XAI, I'd say there's more of a broad painting in terms of information that's displayed in this particular book. AKA, you're gonna get there's a lot of detail, but it's at a higher brush. You're not gonna get this exact meeting happened at Tesla or this exact meeting happened at SpaceX all the time. But you do get a really detailed view because when this book came out, it was very much the Elon buying Twitter, then turning it into X, getting rid of all the engineers, and there's a very kind of like blow by blow definition around how that happened, the detail of it all. Some other aspects as well of this book I kind of skipped altogether. I read them sort of briefly and then at other times kind of skipped it, which is a lot about his relationships. Personally, for me, I don't know if there's much I'm going to learn from the man that is Elon Musk or some of the thoughts of what happened. You could go and take one quick little Google to see the variety of kids. I think it's 12 kids that he's had, the individuals that he's been with. You can tell it's not a priority in his life in a way that it might be for myself, but it's just the way that he, no disrespect to him, it's just the way that he interacts and focuses in his life. But I went, I don't really care to know in 2021 how his relationship broke down with this individual and whatever else. That's to him. I was more, and what you'll get a lot from in this book is, how he behaved, how he acts, how he built what he has built, the circumstances that put him into that place, the things you probably don't want to be like him. He says it in a lot of interviews. You don't want to be like him, and this gives you probably the best glimpse, apart from probably sitting with the guy for like 5 hours or listening to him a really long form podcast of, yeah, you have to be one of a kind to act in this way in all the good ways and all the bad ways. So Elon Musk by Walter Isaacson, I really enjoyed it. It personally for me, like motivated me in a variety of ways. I was reading it purely in the fundamentals of, holy crap, I could be doing way more in terms of efficiency, effectiveness, just sheer drive of doing things. And while I read this particular book, I guess Walter's to gain from this as much as Elon is himself, in that it helped me, it motivated me to do more, be more. There was a lot of direct learnings that I took from that. Beyond that, just the amount of things that are being done, it was just awesome to read and get to know the detail without the drama, which there is a lot of drama in his life. I think Walt did a pretty good job in keeping it out of the book. Yeah, there's a lot of information there it's worth knowing. It's nice to understand. It's reading what the history books will probably summarize in 100 years' time in the moment. So it's quite cool. Um, I gave it myself personally an out of 10. Similar books, obviously got to recommend the other biographies by Walter Isaacson. Steve Jobs one was awesome. You may recognize it. I'm not giving you any details here about Elon himself. I think the book itself, go read that. If you want that, we'll give you that detail or find it elsewhere. I'm just telling you the review by Walter Isaacson is always going to be a pretty good one, and he doesn't disappoint with this one. Um, uh, if you have to, probably read this over Ashley Vance's biography, more recent, more detailed, better in. Fair enough, all said. But yeah, that's probably it for me. Immortal Lights on the book from Elon Musk by Walter Isaacson. Really enjoyed it. Fat read, but I smashed this in about 3 weeks. I was that motivated to read it through, even though I was probably skipped about 30 pages. Let's just say I was 600. But yeah, I was eating it up. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Right, the Immortal Lights, I'll leave it there. If you want to support us, make sure you go and do all the things. Comment, share it, send it through to people. You can also send us through a Boostergram, support it in that way. Valley for Valley, Podcasting 2.0. Go check it out if you need to know what that is in all the many ways. And be on the lookout as well for my learnings of this particular book, which I usually tab, and there's quite a few of them. So I'll leave it there for now. The Immortal Lights, 1 out.